Is this heaven?
No, it's a podcast. Welcome to the Field of Geeks podcast.
Hello and welcome to Field of Geeks episode 152. I'm Josh.
I'm Mitch.
I'm Juan.
And I'm Paul.
Paul has joined us. He's a friend of the show, a friend of mine, and we just recorded Super Unknown, which is going to be amazing when we release that episode. Could have gone on forever, but yeah, I think him and Juan have a good future in podcasting, and I'm happy to produce that journey, if you will. Yeah, Juan's got another show, The Power of Knowledge, which has been on a hiatus. Contract negotiations, I think, disputes.
Yeah.
Mostly Juan's winning because he's very strong.
Eye.
Yeah. I wanted some money, and he said, no, you do it for free. And he hit me. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm afraid of you, Juan. Anyway.
Don't have my people talk to your people.
No, don't do that. You put yourself on mute. Inside joke. So yeah, we got
I did.
We got quite a bit of topics to talk about today. We're going to be talking Boba Fett news, Spider-Man, Miles Morales, Demolition Man 2, from athletes to movie stars will be our main topic, and then we'll do checkout at the end. So everyone, thanks for being on. This is going to be fun. I hope to be in the same room with all of you soon. I certainly bought the chairs for the comfort, so I'd like to use those as much as possible. Well, everyone's contributed to those, of course. Trying to get the studio looking nicer and nicer, and eventually we'll get into video. So, yeah, with that said, let's get started. This was not surprising to me. I don't know if a lot of you are who've seen Mandalorian on Disney Plus.
Yes, I hear good things.
I've seen it.
I'm game. It's just I have this thing with Star Wars.
It's not as cool as Star Trek. Is that what you're saying? Because I'll agree with you there.
It's just it didn't stick with me.
Which one?
It just
Like
didn't
overall? Really?
The whole concept. I want to like it. It makes sense that I should like it.
Mm-hmm.
It just doesn't stick. I think it went too light. I want to know more about the Sith Lords.
Oh yeah,
There's not enough on that.
Well, there is a lot.
I guess you got to dig for that stuff.
Fan fiction,
And
unfortunately, you do until they make the movies. Hopefully, they will. It's Disney, so they probably don't want to go too dark. You know, they want to sugarcoat it. You know, have Mickey Mouse come out
Now
and
it's Disney.
laugh or something. Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. But then yeah, I get what you're saying. Well, they had the Ewok movies. You didn't see
Episode
those?
3, I really enjoyed. Like Darth Vader coming into
Oh,
play.
sure. The red eyes. Yeah, that was a cool touch. Well, I don't want to give.
I love that.
This is a minor spoiler one, but basically,
You're good.
The Mandalorian teased Boba Fett's return. I thought there was this mysterious figure who appeared in an episode. He didn't see. I think he just saw him kneel or something, and so I thought it was him, and I think that's true. They're saying, unless they're going to say that's someone else, of course. But I would go to that assumption there. Of course, Boba Fett perished, or is believed to be perished in Return of the Jedi. He fell into a Sarlacc pit, and I guess you get digested for hundreds of years. So maybe he cracked that mortality code. I don't know, but he fan fiction over the years they've depicted him coming out of that pit and surviving. So it seems a lot of people like that concept, and presumably that's how he's going to be thrown into season 2 of The Mandalorian. So the actor who played Jango Fett in Attack of the Clones, I'll probably butcher this name, Tamura Morrison. He's a good character actor. He was in Aquaman. He played his father. He was in Attack of the Clones. He played Jango Fett, which is Boba Fett's father. Boba Fett is actually a clone of Jango. He's an altered clone. You know, they used Jango to clone the whole clone army. And, of course, Jango met his defeat with Mace Windu. Got his head cut off. So
He could come back from that, though. I mean,
yeah.
you know,
Walk it off.
you
He could. It's a possibility. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I kind of want the Mandalorian to be a different person. I don't know that I want, I don't mind. It's cool if Jango Fett shows up. I don't know. I don't know if I want him to be the same.
You mean you want the Mandalorian to have center stage, you're saying, instead of having Boba Fett come into play too?
No, he can come in, but didn't you just say that would be that he would be revealed to be Jango Fett or Boba Fett, or did I mishear that?
He's not the Mandalorian. He's like another character. So he would enter Boba Fett.
Okay.
He played Jango Fett, and because in the movie Boba is a clone of him, they're using the same actor to now play Boba Fett. So he's coming in to play that, which I think makes sense. He's a little older, but I guess I don't know. Maybe the Psylocke pit messed him up a little bit in the wrinkles and all that. But I mean, I think it's a cool idea. It gives him work, and I think he's a fan favorite. Say what you will about Attack of the Clones, that was kind of a cool part of it, I thought. But yeah, this is.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it makes sense. I think it'll be fun to have some characters from that we're already familiar with come into play. I mean, obviously, Baby Yoda. Everybody knows that. Right. There's that's certainly everyone's a lot of people's favorite. But I think that's cool.
Yeah, it makes sense to use him, even though he's older now. He's got a great voice. He still has shared his likeness with other projects, especially like video game projects. So he's gone on to voice Django and Boba and those, and then the Stormtroopers, of course, the first ones. So, but yeah, this will be this season 2 sounds like it's gonna be chock full of so much more things. I don't know if the episode order is higher or not, but yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it'd be pretty cool, and yeah, that character.
Do we know exactly when this whole series takes place? Is it in the middle of?
It's after Return of Jedi.
After Return of Jedi?
Yeah, it's like I think it's like right after the fall, basically. So, okay. Yeah. So like the original trilogy, well, not the original, the prequel trilogy, that's 20 years before the original trilogy. So Boba Fett's there. He was like, maybe he was like 12 in the prequel trilogy, and then there was a time jump to the third one, so he was like maybe 17. Add the 20, so yeah, like 30. I guess you'd match up a little bit with age, probably a little bit older.
Then I'm confused. I'm confused then, because so who's Baby Yoda then? I just kind of did the timeline. I assumed the timeline based on Baby Yoda. So.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, yeah. See, that's the. A lot of people think that's Yoda. It's not. It's just like they don't know his species, so they just called him Baby Yoda, basically. And maybe he is an offspring of Yoda. That has to yet to be.
Yeah, that's what I was told.
Answered.
A friend of mine who's a big Star Wars fanatic was telling me that's actually possibly Yoda's child.
And that you can do all those things.
And that Yoda is supposed to be 50 years old, by the way. That baby is supposed to be 50 years old.
What?
Is what I was told.
Really? Well, I guess he can walk and stuff.
That's how long.
What?
That's how long it takes for that species to develop, I guess.
Dang. Well, I guess Yoda was pretty
This is
old
the information
himself.
I got from a friend.
No, but yeah,
that makes sense.
He got up to 800, didn't he?
But I could see that confusion because everyone's saying Baby Yoda, and that's like an easy way to like identify that character. But it's not actually Yoda, and I think that's kind of.
But it's also because I don't know anybody else in the thing, right? So it's like you look around, it's so you're like looking for landmarks, and it's like I don't know anybody else, so I'm assuming that this is way ago.
And I get that.
So then do we assume that this whole species just gets the Force, or do we then assume that he's related to Yoda and that's why he has the Force? I also don't know how I feel about the whole lineage thing.
Yeah, there's so much uncertainty in the so many unanswered things, I think, and like the whole Force Ghost thing, like either tackle that or don't, because it seems like they shy away from it too much. It's like, especially when Yoda could summon lightning and all these new concepts.
That's the son.
Or his child, I should say. I don't know if that's a male or female.
Because it seems to be, the Force seems to pass through
your bloodline.
Right. So that might be, or maybe
like
the species.
Skywalkers.
Yeah, or the species
So
itself
that's
is just
his
powerful.
son,
Palpatine's.
and so if that's his son, then he had that kid when he was like what 950. Like, how does this math work out?
He didn't pay child
here?
support.
Well, so maybe Yoda passed away 50 years prior too. I mean,
No, he just passed away. Actually, this is right after Return of Jedi. He dies in Return of Jedi, but he's very old.
well, I mean, he could have had a child while he was still alive. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know
Right.
the time.
Right.
I'm getting secondhand information. I'm not the guy who knows enough about Star Wars.
Right. He went to like the Vegas version of what's in Star Wars and had a good time, and then came back to his hut, and he maybe didn't know about his child. I don't know.
Yoda got it on.
Yeah.
What's not to say that he does like some sort of Professor X thing, and then like, or Groot. Like Groot, and he just recreates himself.
Oh yeah, when he died, he like appeared again.
Yeah, like he reincarnates.
That could be.
Yeah, I was starting to think maybe something along those lines, just as we were talking about it. Like, yeah, could it be some sort of some sort of reincarnation?
Right.
But then he does do the Force Ghost thing. So are you allowed to do Force Ghost and reincarnate?
Yeah, see, that's
Starts to get complicated.
there are so many cool questions to answer, and I think creatively they haven't really done it. Maybe in fan fiction, but like I said, I don't read books. I like to read books, but I like the idea. So I gotta have the
That's an
movie. That's what I'm saying. I
interesting
need the
statement,
movie. I need the movie.
Star Wars
You
is
don't read books, but you enjoy reading books.
I like the idea. Don't get me wrong. I want to be in like a Victorian era study, with a pipe
Like
and
a
high
scholar.
chair. Yeah, but I don't want to do the work. You know what I'm saying? I want to look the part like a model, right? I mean, I want to do the work, but my brain just won't let me do it. So I'm like,
oh, that's awesome.
I know, right? That's right. Yeah, that's how I do
That
it.
sounds like me in high school.
Well, thanks. I did go to Valley, so I guess that explains some. I don't know. Mitch could maybe relate to that. I don't know, but
I went to Roosevelt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations. For 2 years.
Uh,
You were that
I'm
advanced.
originally from St. Louis.
Oh, I see.
I'm originally from St. Louis, so my first 2 years is at school called McClure.
Nice.
So yeah.
We're all here in Iowa now. This is fantastic. Representing.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm from Syracuse, so I went to school far away.
That's so awesome.
Upstate New
Yep.
York.
Upstate New York.
So this next season's coming out in October. I'm excited about it. Hopefully they're able to still get it to us because of what's going on right now. I'm excited about Boba Fett, knowing more about Baby Yoda. I almost don't want it to be his son because that would make the universe really small, I think. But it's the same species, so it's kind of like a given, I guess.
Have you ever really gotten a name for that species of Yoda? I mean, has
I think
fanfics never made a name for it?
Again, in the books, I think they have. In the comics and all that stuff, yeah. Like I said, I need the cliff notes to all these things. A database, if you will. Just search it up. Carl Weathers, of all people, not to say he's not talented.
Yeah, I saw him.
He's going to direct.
Yeah.
He's going to direct an episode. So they've already announced directors,
cool.
and a few others have come back. So that's what's cool about the show.
Yeah, he was great in it.
Yeah, he was. I was happy to see
He was
him.
fantastic.
Yeah, he's getting
Maybe
like,
we can get him in Creed 3.
that's going to be really hard. That's going to be getting into like zombie territory, or they might be dumb enough to say
they could do the youth machine. They're like, he didn't really die.
you know what they're going to do? He faked his
Apollo
death.
went on ice.
He was a CIA agent, double agent, and he faked his death. They will do that, won't they? God dang it. They're going to do
The
that.
death of Drago.
Crap. He's like John Wick now, and yeah. No kidding.
He's the
But
ghost
speaking
of
of-
boxing.
A clone brother. There you go. A clone brother. Just give another Greek god name to it. Zeus or something.
You know what movie did do that for real was sorry to get you guys off track, but Beer
That's what we
Fest.
do.
Yes.
Oh, Beer
Like
Fest.
the guy dies and then his twin brother shows up and picks up the pieces and marries his wife. His twin brother comes out of nowhere. He's like, I've been drinking.
It's always
anyway,
that trope,
so I-"
isn't it? The twin brother, the evil twin brother, faked his death. He might be onto
I
something
love
because
that
he's going to have a resurgence. I mean, he is now with acting, and if directing is pulled off well, who knows? Maybe he'll be directing Creed 3, so he's got to be in it then. Maybe a flashback or something. But he
well,
hasn't aged too much.
That de-aging. They got that de-aging program, is what I was thinking.
That's gonna be like a $300 million budget for Creed 3 to de-age him, probably. Maybe not.
For Marvel movies, I mean, I would think it's not that difficult. I mean, Rocky is a huge franchise.
It is a huge franchise. It is a huge franchise.
Rocky, Creed.
Yes.
It's under the same umbrella. So
Absolutely.
I would say, like, they could degenerate something like to put him back in that time period before he was, before he passed away, and conversation he had with.
Is there a prequel trilogy of Rocky we need?
Could be.
With lightsabers and stuff. That'd be cool.
Oh, I like that. With Baby Yoda.
It's like,
Creed and
why are all
Rocky.
these elements in this film about fighting? I don't understand. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Disney owns it. That's why. Disney owns it. But yeah, moving on. Miles, a Spider-Man fan film.
Disney.
Did you guys check this trailer out?
It was actually pretty good. I was impressed.
Yeah, it's friend of the show, filmmaker Terrell Christie. He's an award-winning filmmaker. He just keeps cranking them out, man. They're so good. They're just these, short films he's doing, but he's got...
Where does he live?
West Des Moines.
Really? Of all places.
Iowa grown. Represent. If you go to his channel, his film company is called Lost Utopia Films. Check out his YouTube channel. He did this short called Flava, I think it's called. And it's really, really good, and the deep message, I think. What's awesome is he films around downtown Des Moines. And this Flava took place in the future a little bit, so he was able to put like holograms in. You still see the elements of downtown Des Moines, but it's like Blade Runner like, sort of. It's super cool.
Weird.
This is a passion project. I think, each one of them is a passion project, but he loves the character of Miles Morales, and he's been working really hard on this for a long time. And they have a social media account, and you can reach him on YouTube through Lost Utopia Films. But yeah, it's he loves this. He loves the Tobey Maguire era of Spider-Man films, and that's what this is set in. So it's kind of a cool little a love letter to that, if you will.
He's my favorite Spider. Just throwing it out.
Tobey Maguire?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, he's kind of everyone's first on
he's my
screen,
favorite.
so makes a little sense there. Yeah. I just didn't like when he cried. His faces were just kind of goofy. That's how much of a dick I am about it. But Andrew Garfield, he did a pretty good job.
He had the best Uncle Ben, man. So he had
Yeah,
True. Yeah,
Best
because
Uncle Ben.
well, Martin Sheen wasn't too bad, I didn't think, but you knew he was gonna die, and it just felt so forced. He's like, "Oh, I gotta go for this gun." Boom. All right, I'm dead. Here you go. Go on and become Spider-Man. And we've already seen this tale. And I think it's cool about the Marvel films is you don't see that, even though I would like them to mention Uncle Ben, but they didn't do it again. They didn't do in the origin tale again. We don't need it right now, I think, again. And yeah, it was done.
Yeah, they made Aunt May hot.
They did. Oh my god.
The first time young men had fantasies about Aunt May.
Right. Well, and there's probably other men who had
okay.
fantasies about the other Aunt May. They just don't want to come out and admit to it. But
Well, to each his own. To each his own. It's a judge-free zone.
you're right. Yeah. Welcome. Yes.
If you like gray Aunt May, like super gray Aunt May, like Aunt May,
Right.
well, power to you, brother.
Right.
Right?
The OG.
Our sister.
The OG Aunt May. The OG Aunt May. Generation 1. There you go. That's how we say it. But
Whatever you're looking for.
But yeah, this film looks great. He really has mastered effects very well, and I know he's filmed in Des Moines for some of the close-up shots, because it takes place in New York, trying to mask Des Moines into that setting. There's an awesome still. If you follow him, Terrell Christie is his name. If you follow him or Lost Utopia Films, you'll see like behind-the-scenes photos of like where they're shooting, where they've shot. They have wrap shooting, so he's just doing the post on it right now. But there's an awesome image. They're on a building across from the Traveler sign downtown, which I love that sign so much. I mean, it's iconic, but it's a beautiful shot. I just can't wait to see what he's going to do with it. But yeah, so happy for him, and I think this is going to be very successful. And yeah, we're planning to have him come on as it gets close to release or after it's released to talk about it. And he's a super cool dude. He's been on the show before, so yeah, big shout out to him. Congratulations. It's Yeah, I think it's great. To me, it looks expensive. I don't know what you guys thought, but
it looked really good.
I mean, it kind of looked like a legit film, right? I mean, you didn't even know it was like you probably thought it was almost like a Marvel.
At the end
yeah,
was impressive.
Yep.
I didn't think he could pull that off.
Right.
But yeah, it looked pretty good.
The actor.
It's another person you got to introduce me to, Josh.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's all I do, guys. I introduce people, and I'm a matchmaker, you know. And that's my legacy.
Aww.
That's my legacy. Anyway, excuse me, I gotta wipe these tears.
My hero.
Yeah, so the actor playing Miles is basically his Robert De Niro to his Scorsese. He's been in every film he's done, I believe.
Okay.
And he's even done this really cool Martian film. He's super creative. So, yeah, I'm anxious for you guys to see his work, and I'm anxious for his future. I hope he can stay in Iowa. I think that's his goal, is to kind of just, put a spotlight on Iowa. Like, hey, we have all these creative avenues we can show the world. You don't have to go to Hollywood.
I got a lot of projects I could do.
Well, Juan, you're creative yourself, man. You're a musician, and I mean, Paul, you play, man. You got a CD out there. You guys are celebrities. I'm just a peasant, who's bringing you guys to the people, I guess. Mitch is mingled with celebs himself. He's a
oh yeah,
big deal,
but just on a driving basis.
Right. But you guys, you have their personal numbers, right? And you talk, don't you? You can lie.
No, God, no.
You can lie. No, I'm kidding.
I wish.
I know.
I have a lot of PR people, but that's about it.
We need to do like an HBO show someday when Mitch retires from driving people. I don't know what you'd call it. It'd be like a taxi cab confession type of thing. We'll reenact things. It'd be really cool. Just have to make sure we can't get sued. We got to make sure of that. So.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty tough.
Super cool film. I'm very excited. Moving on. This is something I didn't even expect, guys. Who here are Demolition Man fans?
I thought it was a hokey movie.
Really? Well, I guess, yeah.
I'm a major Demolition Man. I'm a big fan.
I don't remember.
The comics are good.
Yeah. Right. What about you, Paul? Did you enjoy that film?
I don't think I saw that one.
You never saw Demolition Man? Really? Okay. You got homework. You got to. It's not for kids. I'll tell you that. Definitely not for kids. Stallone, can't go wrong there. 90s.
Agreed.
93 it came out. Very realistic. He plays John Spartan, who's a cop who's framed by Wesley Snipes' character Simon Phoenix. It's also starred Sandra Bullock. Like I said, it's very accurate. They were frozen for rehabilitation in the year 1996. Apparently we had that technology I did not know about. They really went for the stars on that prediction. Just 3 years away from that.
Only for the wealthy.
Right.
Yeah.
They didn't 1%ers.
They didn't get into it. Yeah. So years later, 2032, they're thawed out, and society's changed. It's really, I guess you could say, it's very PC society. You can't curse. You get merits or something, tickets for cursing. There's no toilet paper, which would be great right now. There's this concept of 3 seashells, which I think someone actually put a paper out how to use them when you go to number 2.
Oh, that's where that meme came from then. Okay.
Yeah. Because they just refer to it and they never explain it. So it's just one of those, like, you got to have your own imagination about it. Classic film. The only restaurant remaining in that future is Taco Bell. And it's very high class restaurant. It's not like now. But yeah, it's like fine dining, basically. It's a super cool movie. It's got a lot of, it is kind of goofy. It's, Rob Schneider's in it, it's another thing. They don't touch, which, is really mirroring what we do now as a society. They basically put their hands like they're going to do a high five, but then they just wave their hands without touching.
Wait, you're thinking Rob Schneider was in Judge Dredd.
He was in both. He was in both. He was in both. Yep.
Yeah, he was a cop in Demolition Man. Yeah.
Which when Judge Dredd came out, movie. Because I didn't know much about Dredd, I actually thought it was a sequel to Demolition Man. A little off, yeah. But anyway, Stallone is now saying he had a Q&A online, and I guess they're talking about doing a sequel with Warner Brothers, and it seems to be script ready to go to shoot. And yeah, what do you guys think about that? Is that something we need or want?
I mean, the movie kind of rounded itself.
I mean,
yeah, the movie was
kind
of.
Snipes going to be in this one? He died.
I think I heard he might be a part of it, which, again, how? Yeah, I don't want to spoil it for Paul. It's an old movie, but...
No, you can spoil, yeah.
He loses
Spoil
his
away.
head. He loses his head. He gets the Jango Fett treatment. He gets his head frozen, then kicked off.
You can come back from that. I'm telling you. That's like...
Hey, if anyone could explain it, Paul could explain it. You need to consult with the script advisors and really... Nanobots. There you go. Nanobots. That was it. Nanobots. Or he was a clone.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Juan, are you excited about
Random
this?
thing that happened, fellas. Yeah, I'll watch it.
It happens.
When it comes out.
How can they top the first one, if you will? The budget would have to be huge, right? Because you'd have to pick a future that's more futuristic than the first one. Unless it goes into a like apocalypse-like future, which most properties seem to do nowadays. But yeah, are you excited about this, Mitch? Are you on board? If they call you,
What's that?
Are you down for Demolition Man 2?
You know, I'd be down. Seems like anything that Stallone touches right now is actually pretty decent.
Yeah.
You know, Expendables. I thought it was just going to be kind of a reunion of the '80s. You know, characters that made them big.
Action heroes, yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that franchise. Yeah, I like that franchise. It
was a fun, fast-paced movie. And then he did Rocky, and he did Creed, and I mean, he's
right.
The movies aren't bad. Rambo, except for that last Rambo, which kind of
I agree.
Made people go ooh. Was it Rambo 4 where he got on the back of the Jeep and just nailed down like everybody in the rice paddy?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
That was probably one of the most realistic scenes I could think.
Right.
You know, because it's just like, what happens when you nail some guy down in a rice field? Well, you know, they explode, and he just keeps doing it.
It did it before GTA did it.
Shot. Yeah.
No, he's a very talented guy, and you know, we were talking nutrition on like the Super Unknown, and he's definitely one who's taken his body through so much transformation over the years. You know, if you look at the first Rocky to now, it's just like, what the hell? Is this the same person?
Oh yeah, no, he's bulked up since Rocky.
Yeah, and he looks great. He's in his 70s. He looks great.
70s. He still takes HGH.
Oh yeah. No, I didn't say he's. It's all natural.
He got it through customs. Like I remember.
I remember that
a big issue like years ago.
That's when he filmed the last Rambo.
He was getting shipped from Australia.
Yeah.
Got it shipped from Australia. Got caught in customs. He was like, "How much to get it back?" They were like 100,000. He's like, "Okay."
Wow.
He paid $100,000 for that stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, he's a crazy dude, man. He was talking about he got into a bench press competition with who was it? It was some trainer. I can't remember, but he tore a pec, man. He tore a pec. And they had to like sew it back on. Yeah. It's crazy.
Was it Ray Lewis that did the same thing?
I don't recall.
Like tore a muscle or something like that?
Maybe, man. I mean, Stallone's.
Yeah, that's a terrible.
You know what's a cool documentary? It's basically the behind the scenes. I don't know if you call it a documentary, but it's behind the scenes of filming the first Expendables, and he was advised repeatedly by his doctor because he got injured. Like you gotta rest, but he didn't want the film crew to rest or anything, so they just went on and did the rest of the movie. And yeah, he's got to like run and stuff, and he had like all these torn muscles and just nuts. How he's he's definitely a strong dude, and he probably does have some help to become that strong dude. Yeah, if they do this Demolition Man 2 soon, I think he looked pretty good in it. You know, I didn't like the last Terminator movie too much, but I did like Arnold, what they did with him. I thought that was kind of cool, and he, you know, he still rocked it, even though he was in his 70s. I mean, I still have not seen that. That like skipped theaters, didn't it? No, it went to theaters. It just didn't do too well. But I think the whole Terminator franchise just just been done to death, and it had to get to the war zone, and it did, and they just stopped doing that. So,
does anyone have a video or anything to explain what how to eat 3 shells?
Yeah, I'm sure if you YouTube it, there's explanation. I think someone even published a paper, and there's like images, and Yeah.
They never explained the 3 shells.
They never did. No. But
I was curious myself.
That's a cool mystery, though, to put into a movie, I think. That's big of them, It's like, you figure it out.
Because they say, like, he doesn't know how to use the shells.
Yeah.
He used wads of paper.
Right.
Oh, another thing they predicted, toilet paper. So
Right.
The need for toilet paper.
They outlawed drinking and smoking, like everything, and there was an underground network.
Dennis Leary.
Yep, Dennis Leary.
Dennis Leary.
Couldn't drive gasoline cars. Yeah, maybe they would put some Tesla tech in the new film. Who knows? Maybe volunteer the Cybertruck. That'd be pretty damn cool. Getting into our main topic for the show today, from athletes to movie stars. Basically, just each of us share who we thought did it great and not so great. And I know from talking to you, Paul, you've worked with some MMA fighters that become actors. Is that right? Or appeared in movies?
Well, I've just, I've worked with a couple of MMA fighters, and just thinking about how they translate to sort of the screen.
Mm-hmm.
So, George St. Pierre, I haven't worked with him, but, with him in like Captain America, I just think it's cool where you see, obviously we all love to see fight scenes, right?
Oh, absolutely.
So I think when you have, actual, people who do it for a living and people who are very familiar with it, I think it lends, I think it comes off a little bit differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder what you guys think about the challenge in terms of like, it almost kind of looked like there was a difference between like Captain America's almost, style of fighting and then George St. Pierre's. You know what I mean? Like, did you feel that too, where it's just like when you have two people who are choreographed, then it looks really clean. When you have one person who really knows what they're doing and then one person who just knows how to do the dance.
Yeah.
I don't know. How did you?
I'll say this. I've done stunt work before. It is hard. I mean, being a guy who used to fight and do MMA, there's a satisfaction you get when you actually land something. And basically what acting asks you to do is to do everything but find that satisfaction. So like acting's gonna, so like where it's like you can't use proper technique when you're doing a fight scene. It would look terrible on screen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Your punches are big. Oh yeah, your punches are big and wide. Your kicks are wild and elaborate. The mass, everything's huge. So you have to do everything.
So it presents better than like maybe a close punch or something like that.
Than actual real, like a real legit punch, like an actual jab, does not look that captivating.
Right.
Well, and that's what they used to say about Bruce Lee, right? Where like Bruce Lee's real talent in the beginning was his hand speed, but it didn't look as good. And then he met like Chuck Norris, and Chuck Norris was like, "Oh no, people like big kicks. You got to work on big kicks." And then he started incorporating his now famous, big kicks. Yeah. So he, to my understanding, he really adapted even his abilities to the screen and sort of changed, because he was originally like Wing Chun, right, which was a lot of hand speed and a lot of punching and blocking, a lot of hands, not necessarily as much feet.
Yeah, he actually got his movement. I'm a big Bruce Lee fan. He actually got his movement from watching American style fighters like Ali and American style. Right, that too, boxing.
Right? Like the sort of like stand on your toes and that whole style as well, right?
Wing Chun's very in and out. Like traditional Eastern martial arts is not so much about like fluidity through the legs. It's more just like I walk towards you. If you ever seen like Ip Man, his footwork is not anything to brag about, but his hand speed, his choice of like movement and things like that are good. But he's trying to translate on screen, Wing Chun, just as like Jet Li back in the day. It's not about their footwork as much. Bruce Lee was the first to incorporate that type of stuff. But as for like actors who are going into, athletes who go, if they're doing fight scenes, it's it's just everything's big.
They kind of have to marry. They have to marry their talents, right? You know what they know with the Hollywood treatment to it, right?
Who plays Captain America when he fought George St. Pierre in that fight scene? It's better than GSP. Trust me. They had to teach GSP how to do that scene. It's hard.
Right.
It's not that simple.
Well, and that was a huge improvement from the first Captain America to the second one was the fighting style, right? Because if you look at the first Captain America, there's no like, I guess you would say MMA influence, right? For the second one, how he flips and just everything. How
maybe they were trying to capture the era. You know.
Yeah, and I totally agree because that was before a lot of like outside fighting styles. I think came to like the culture, but. Yeah, I like how it transitioned the fighting techniques. And do you guys prefer your fight scenes to be like wide shots or like, you know how Nolan does like a lot of close-up shots? You don't really get to see much detail. And then other people do like wider shots.
I like that animation they do sometimes. Like they did it really well where it made it fun and exciting to be in the cinema with actually that Sherlock Holmes.
Yes.
With, where he's calculating the punches.
That was cool.
And he's doing all these different martial arts. And he's like, pop, pop, and it slows it and shows it in slow motion.
That was awesome.
And it goes back. That type of stuff is excellent for cinema.
Yeah. Because
it's semi-realistic.
Yeah.
And they slow it down to understand the effectiveness
no,
of his
that was
movements.
so cool.
Because he was actually doing... Yeah. Whereas, like, if I think about Christopher Nolan's Batman fight scenes compared to Affleck has better fight scenes.
Oh yeah, that warehouse scene. Oh my god, hands down.
Yeah, and I mean that makes it look like an action movie, whereas Nolan's is more based around the storyline and not so much on the fight scene.
Well, do you think Nolan's is using too much realism with fighting? Do you think that's the problem?
Yeah, that's actually how a real fight
right.
looks.
Well, it's just like it's just like Rocky. They were filming the fights and they weren't exciting, and so Stallone actually had to write the punches, like actually write them and script them, and so that's how they got. And of course, they upped the sound of the punches, right? Because I remember my first introduction to boxing probably was through Rocky. And then when I actually saw the fight, I was like, where's all the excitement? Where's the noises? Like, this is boring.
Everybody wants that pop, that pure, like Batman and Robin, TV series,
right? Yeah, right. If only real life was that way.
Like when you're in MMA, though, I mean, do you really hear if you're gonna punch somebody's dome or something like that? I mean, you're not gonna hear it. Those are all sound effects, right?
I mean, it's like a feeling and a hearing at the same time. Yeah. When you kick someone in the head,
Oh yeah.
You can hear it on the television too, right? And sometimes the commentators will say that. Like I haven't done MMA or a lot of martial arts training in my life. I'm just a nutritionist, and kind of like helping people, cut weight and kind of work on the nutritional aspects of things. But like as a fan of it, when you're watching it, you'll even hear the commentators. Sometimes with a certain like really good shot, they'll be like, listen to this hit, and then they'll replay it and you can hear it through the TV, So, I mean, but that's if you connect really well, right? I mean, Juan, would you agree that probably, there's a lot in real fighting is like glancing blows and a lot of not connecting because you're trying to hit them and they're trying to not get hit. So, a lot of it is just the sort of wear and tear over time.
When I teach boxing and kickboxing to a lot of people, and when I teach it, I say my ears are just as valuable as my eyes. So when I'm snapping that jab, it's almost like a whipping sound, like you hear it, and so I know my jab is good and crisp when I have this certain sound. So when I'm holding the mitt for a person who is throwing that punch, and I'm showing them the proper technique, I'm like, this is the sound we're chasing.
Yeah.
We're chasing this sound.
It's an attraction.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's an attraction.
I'll show them the movement, and then I'm like, okay, now what is our target? So in boxing, kickboxing, you want to aim for the chin. Okay, so you know that's why you'll hear terms like he has a weak chin, blah blah blah. But you're aiming for that center point if you're aiming for the head. There's a different sound you'll get, and then you have to hit these spots. So there's a different sound you hit or hear when you hit like the liver shot. The liver shot's the worst place to get hit, in my opinion.
Oh,
Yeah.
It's the worst.
So
It's the worst. Like anyone, like headshots are beautiful for television. They're beautiful for entertainment factor. But if a guy doesn't like you, he's gonna hit you to the body.
Yeah.
Right.
Like if you're sparring on a regular basis and you have a teammate who's especially good at hitting you in the body, you're not gonna like that guy. But you're gonna have a lot of fear for that guy. So you rather have someone hit you in the head. It sounds ridiculous.
Dang.
But in most cases,
no,
you
I
rather-
agree, man. I agree. Even just like messing around with my brother when I was younger, man. He popped me in the kidney once. Oh man, I was like, yeah, can we go back to you hitting me in the face, because that was really uncomfortable.
I'd rather break a nose.
Terrible.
Yeah, my coach,
man.
one of my kickboxing coaches taught me that a long time ago. He says, love the man who knocks you out. Hate the MF who hits you in the liver. He says, you know why? The guy who knocked you out had the courtesy to put you to sleep. He says, the guy that hit you in the liver, you're awake with that pain.
But people love Jack Daniels.
Mm-hmm. It's something about that shot. And like,
Wait
I'm
for
just
it.
saying
No.
any body shot, hitting in the ribs. If you crack a rib on a guy, killing his breathing, you're
Right.
just slowly seeing him deteriorate.
Taking it all
So
down.
like
Yeah.
someone who chops to the body and everything like that, but that doesn't look good in movies like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's not going to be like as over the top. Like actually, the guys I think who do best at like those action scenes are wrestlers, like wrestlers.
Oh yeah, because they can
like
they can
WWE
throw each
Rock.
other around without really getting hurt as much, right? Like they it's a yeah, 'cause they're-
Right. They've been acting. Their whole thing is about acting.
right, because they don't
So,
really connect too much, right? Wrestling. I mean, I think we all know it's
There's
fake, but
going to be some connections. You're throwing
right,
shots. You're open slaps, and
right.
you're doing leg locks and those things. If you really do apply a lot of those things, you can jack somebody up really bad. And like sometimes they do get mad at each other and they do apply those things for real.
Right.
But like The Rock is the guy I was going to bring to the table.
Who's that?
He's because he did play for the University of Miami.
Oh, so he's like a double athlete, pretty much, right?
Yeah, he was trying to be,
That's
and
a
like,
term.
and he's of lineage too. His dad
Yeah.
was Superfly Snooker. Am I right? Or someone like that. His dad, he has because he's
Mhm.
he's Black Samoan, and so he has this whole.
And his grandfather.
His grandfather was
Yep.
supposed. Yep.
Go ahead. Sorry.
So they have like a whole lineage. So like to me, like someone like him translated, transitioning from being an athlete, like a football player, to becoming an actor. Like he's actually becoming an actor
yeah.
beyond just action.
Yeah.
Even though he's gonna
You're
play
right.
Black Adam, which I'm excited about.
Yeah.
That's another
Yeah,
story.
he's gonna be awesome. In
Well,
Black
yeah,
Adam.
there's that thing with the athletes. Like I've got a list here, and some of, not everyone's hit it out of the park at first, and they're still in the game, and they've gotten better. But there's some that just stink, right? There's some that just don't, like the acting part. They might be able to fight well, but like I was not a big John Cena fan when he came on the scene, in the movie scene. He did the Marine, and I just thought it was ridiculous. But then he showed comedic chops over the years with Trainwreck, Blockers.
Mhm.
He was in Bumblebee. He was kind of rusty in Bumblebee, I thought,
I'm
but
sorry. John Cena's the Walmart version of
Mark
The
Wahlberg.
Rock.
Oh.
To me, he is.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
he's
no,
so rigid,
I am not
he
even.
lacks humor and
Well, no.
any sort of
Have you seen
expression.
Blockers or Trainwreck?
I've seen enough of them to know that kind of stuff can't be coached out.
Yeah. I'm not saying he's like going to win an Oscar, but I do think
Yeah.
he's gotten better, and I can tolerate it more. I did think he was hilarious in Blockers. Yeah, he's probably got some staleness to him, but I don't know. He's lower on the list, I would say, of success.
What's the guy? because I haven't kept up with wrestling in a while. He plays in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh yeah, Dave Bautista. Yeah, he's gotten good.
Batista,
I think.
Yeah.
He's actually did MMA fight. He's an MMA fighter.
Is he?
Remember when he dropped a ton of weight for that?
Oh yeah, he's an ex-wrestler.
Yeah.
And I think he's out of the people we've named, I think he's the better actor.
Oh, I think he's better than Cena.
Yeah, he's solid.
He's
I think
grown.
he's better than The Rock in a different. Like I think he can actually play a dramatic role if necessary.
He's on a different level. Like his character in Guardians, right? Just talks like he's stupid, but he's able to.
No. He's just very literal. He doesn't
not stupid.
understand.
I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, no, I know what you're saying. But it comes off like he doesn't have a clue. But just the expression he shows and the physicality, obviously, is there. He's gotten better. Like he was in Blade Runner 2049. I thought he did pretty well. He was in Bond.
Yep.
He didn't really talk much in there. He's had some comedies I haven't seen lately, but I think he's one of those who's grown. Yeah, Cena's low on the list. I think he has grown though. Ronda Rousey, who's an MMA fighter, I don't think she's really shown talent to stick with acting, in my opinion. Which is maybe why she went to WWE. I don't know.
Carano.
Yeah, she's grown.
She's from Deadpool 1.
Yes, she has grown. She didn't hit it out of the park.
She was
Ronda
Rousey before Ronda Rousey. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
She's like the, you know what I'm saying? She's the godmother of female.
Well, they both
MMA.
They both cut their teeth on the Fast and Furious franchise, I believe. Carano was in 6 and Rousey was in 7, and Carano had been doing movies way before. Was she?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, you're right. Yeah. Okay.
Way before.
So she's had some time to enhance her acting skills. I think Deadpool she was very good in. I really thought that was a good performance. Of course, action's always
wonderful
there.
In The Mandalorian.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean that's like
I did see this season.
Totally.
Really good in The Mandalorian.
Totally. Yeah, she's one that's grown, and I think some hit the peak, at first, and then they just kind of like Hulk Hogan. Let's say he had Rocky 3, right, which wasn't like huge performance, but his physique was huge. Thunder Lips, if you remember that.
Thunder Lips.
He threw Stallone around like a rag doll. Thunder Lips, baby. And then is my heart stopped?
Thunder
What's
Lips.
going on? They unplugged me. Damn it.
Sorry about that.
They're tired of me recording. Like, you're over. Game over. Player 1. Start.
Continue.
Insert 25 cents.
He was No Holds Bar, which I haven't seen in years, but I remember seeing that in '89. That was probably the last big movie he did, Hulk Hogan, and he just kind of disappeared. Unless I'm missing something.
There was a 90s movie where Hulk Hogan was like an alien or something like that.
Yeah, but those were I know. Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Terry Crews.
Yeah, he's grown.
He used to play in the NFL.
Yeah, he's
really.
Yep.
I think a lot of
a first stringer.
A lot of these athletes like him, The Rock, I guess you could say. I mean, they have a good comedic side to them. Because he's on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I believe.
Oh yeah.
He's super funny, and yeah, he's one. In the beginning, White Chicks, I think, was the first time I ever saw him, and he was, doing that peck dance. That was funny, but he's definitely evolved, I'd say.
He was in one of the Friday movies.
That's right.
He's done a lot of stuff.
I think The Rock kind of hit the ground running with Scorpion King, which was a surprise, or The Mummy Returns.
The Mummy 2 was his first movie. Yeah, where they did the horrible CGI and he was a giant scorpion.
At the end, yeah, that was terrible.
Yeah, they made the Scorpion King. That wasn't any better.
No, that was his way into acting, though, and he made such a
I
big.
bet he didn't think that check was terrible.
No. Well, he didn't. That's the thing. Like, I think we approach everything with athletes becoming actors, right? We kind of like that. It's like Judgment Day when they release their first film, right? And it's like, it's tough. It's like you sometimes can just tell where they're gonna go, how this is gonna end. Imagine Rock becoming as big as he has.
Well, here's a question: do you consider Schwarzenegger to be an athlete? I mean, he was the greatest bodybuilder of all time.
He's on my list.
And his whole transition of going from being probably the greatest, he's the Michael Jordan of bodybuilding, to not even knowing English very well when he came to the States to who he is now, to becoming like a governor. Just his acting chops, even though he has a certain thing. He plays his position well. He knows what he is.
Right. Yeah, and that's great. I think people who know that are the better for it, and he definitely has. And yeah, he's on my list for sure. Yeah, absolutely. He's an athlete.
And he kind of invented the action hero, right?
You're right.
Kind of
Yeah.
changed it. At least invented the modern.
Yeah, he refined it.
Invented the modern sort of version in terms of like, you got to be, super giant, buff, and,
right? Yeah, he refined it for
like
a new generation.
Yeah, and Stallone, and I think Bruce Lee has some. I'm going to put a vote for one of my, if not my favorite athlete in a fight scene. I'm not saying he was good, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in Game of Death.
Oh yeah, the footprint, the giant footprint.
Abdul-Jabbar.
Because he's on my list. That's funny you said that.
I love it. I love sitting down, the foot out. I don't know. I love the performance. Whether it was good acting or not, I'm not going to say, but I loved it.
Well, some are just great to just like don't talk, just do your thing, look iconic.
Yep.
Don't ruin it.
Well,
don't talk.
I think if you play your position of who you are,
right.
I think of Terry Bradshaw. Terry Bradshaw has actually done pretty well.
Yeah, he's got comedic chops. Well. He's showing up here and there on.
I mean, he's kind of gone into the comedy realm a little more than, but he's kind of a silly dude, He was kind
staying in his lane.
Yeah,
effective.
He's got a personality, right? And he's a commentator himself now, and I think that helped get him into movies, right? I mean, all these people. I think personality is what you need to last. The Rock.
I gotta say this one. Steven Seagal. I mean, he's a black belt.
Oh shit, you're right. Or is he? We don't know. He's a man of mystery. Oh God. Dude, he would crown himself the king of all athletes, actors.
Steven Seagal he's the emperor of this stuff.
He's registered his body as deadly weapons.
Try to do taekwondo now and all that stuff. Like, he's so ridiculously fat that basically he just uses his hands and twists people's arms until they're down on the ground.
He's eating a plate of spaghetti while he does it.
Yeah, and he just squints at you, and that's about it. And you're down on the ground. I mean, there's literally no movement from his body.
He's got carpet on his head, whatever the hell that is, and that goatee thing. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, Juan, thanks for bringing that up. Well, no.
You know who
actually
this was Brett Favre and Something About Mary. God, that was terrible.
Did he win Best Supporting Actor for that performance?
No, that was terrible. You remember he comes in, he's like, Mary. He has like zero personality.
Like he's reading it?
Yeah, like literally he's looking off the screen, reading a clipboard of notes.
And he's got a football in his hand for some reason.
Oh yeah.
We should just do like a show just all about Seagal. He has so many.
You mean like 2 hours wasn't enough for Field of Geeks at the movies? Under Siege 2?
Do more. Seagal is just such a big target in so many ways.
He is. We're all jealous. That's why we're just jealous.
Like how did the police force actually take him seriously and then give him a badge?
Because they watched his movie. They watched him crack some necks.
On top of that, allow him to be filmed as a cop.
Wow, that guy's so wild.
Oh my God.
Well, Shaq's
another one.
Too.
Oh,
sure.
Yeah. Did he ever mature like a fine wine? He was in Blue. Was that one you said? Blue Chips. Do you ever see Blue Chips?
Still.
Oh,
Blue
yeah.
Chips, yep.
He's a type that I think maybe hit his mark from the start and just went down. Blue Chips. I remember it being pretty good performance. Maybe. Of course,
Nick Nolte made that movie.
True, but Shaq was featured in it.
Him and Penny Hardaway and
maybe Shaq thought it was real. He's being recruited for this team, and they just went with it. There goes my heart again.
The thing about Shaq was like, no matter how bad his stuff was, people still bought it and loved it.
He had a big rap career too. I mean, he has 2 platinum albums.
I mean, they did
What,
to a
like 2 or 3
certain
platinum?
they did to a certain extent, but his Shaq Fu I think was his most successful into the
No, all of his albums have been platinum, certified platinum. Whereas I could speak for other rappers or other athletes who have tried to rap or sing. And
John Cena.
They haven't been able to pull that off. They haven't been able to pull that off.
I thought he did. I
But-
thought he actually sold a lot of records.
Who?
Well,
John Cena.
Yeah,
he was a
Shaq Fu.
rapper. He still is, I think.
Actually, Rock sold a
What?
decent amount of music. He sings kid songs. You're welcome.
well, that's different though. I mean, he can
Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
sing.
A hit song's a hit song.
Yeah.
It still
Well,
charts.
I mean, yeah, but I think that selling records though it gets tricky, right? Because
Right.
they'll sell it just on the name recognition.
True.
So
Right.
you
Just
know,
to
William
laugh.
Hung sold a lot of records.
This is true. This is
She
true.
bangs. She
You know what I'm saying?
bangs.
Touche.
So did David Hasselhoff.
I mean,
too.
straight up, right? I mean, a lot of there's and this is they're gonna sell based on their name recognition. So
Right,
you
right,
get
true.
that out of the gate.
Right. That's true.
Has any, speaking of that, has anybody seen the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 soundtrack of David Hasselhoff, or shall I say, Zandu Hasselfrau?
I liked it. I thought it was funny.
Oh God, it was hilarious.
For what it was hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
That music video is even better. It's like got a 70s filter on it, and it's super
Well, he
cool.
does that whole Germany thing, but
Oh yeah, he's
Kung
huge over
Fury.
there.
Remember the movie Kung Fury that I sent you, Josh?
Yes.
Oh. Yeah, he's the main guy that sings on it.
Really?
That's a Swedish film.
Oh, that's right.
that
Yeah.
one? That movie was done in Sweden.
That is a trip.
Like-
Paul, you got to see Kung Fury. It's you
I'll
could
send
probably
you- I'll
find
send
it.
you a link, Paul.
Yeah, do that.
It's on
I'm
YouTube.
excited.
It's 30
It's
minutes
awesome.
long. That's it. It's only 30 minutes, and it's
This
just
guy is Kung
bonkers.
Fury. He travels back in the past to fight Hitler.
Thor's in it.
It's so awesome.
Thor's in
so
it,
over the
and
top.
didn't a car come to life? No, a vending machine came to
Yeah,
life, right?
his
Oh,
car
it's just
comes to life.
crazy.
His car comes to life. He's
He's got a dinosaur as a
video
partner.
game. The video game comes to life. Everybody comes to life. It's his
Wait,
his
isn't that on
partner.
Netflix?
No, just go to YouTube. I'll send you
Oh.
guys a link.
Yeah, do
We'll
that.
link it. That whole movie was done by green screen and GoFundMe.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah, like
Wow.
they had to come up with the capital on their own,
That's
and the way they
crazy.
did the movie, because they had to make sure they had the budget to. What's on Saturday Night Live? The guy that does Lonely Island or whatever.
Oh
rapper.
yeah. Andy. Oh.
Yeah.
Samberg.
So one
Yep.
of the guys that's in that crew. One
Oh,
of the
that makes
3 guys,
sense. That makes total sense.
He's the guy that plays Hitler. So they had to pay. Oh, he nails it. Like
That movie is so
you know.
bonkers. And they're making a sequel, and it's actually got a big budget. I think they have Arnold in it so far, and Michael Fassbender's in it.
Oh yeah,
It'll
they
probably
were-
ruin the whole thing, but I'll
No,
probably
it was
check it out.
awesome.
Yeah.
He rides a keyboard back into the past. He goes too freaking far, and he's out there stuck. He's stuck there with Thor and these 2 like Amazon Viking ladies.
Yeah.
And they have to. Thor sends him to the right time period so he can fight Hitler.
It's
And he takes on, like,
nuts.
10,000 Nazis, and then he finally gets to fight Hitler.
It's literally
And then
how
he
he's
dies.
describing it, guys. It's like a toy
Then he
box
dies.
blew up.
And he gets in a fight with his spirit animal and says, "You need to bring me back to life right now. I got some shit to do."
Oh my
And then,
god.
he's like, "Yeah, it doesn't work like that." And his spirit animal's a cobra, and he's like, "You need to bring me." He freaks out.
Oh my gosh. Well,
So he's in heaven. He's in heaven. He's complaining. He's stuck in heaven. He's like, "Get me out of here. I'm trying to get back and fight Hitler." It's just, oh,
it's
this movie
crazy.
is so over the top. It's just balls to the wall
Is there
ridiculousness.
yeah, it's you got to check it out. Is there any other names you guys could think of for the list here of athletes to movie stars?
I think when he had the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Yeah,
one,
that was good. That was good.
Well, don't forget about O.J. Simpson,
Oh shit! Hertz commercials.
Yeah.
Naked Gun.
right?
Yeah,
He's
Naked
great
Gun
in Naked
series.
Gun.
He's a killer actor.
He was
Amazing.
he was either involved or not involved in a murder.
What?
So stay
What'd I
tuned. Stay tuned for
What'd I say?
TSU's future episode on that. How he got
Inappropriate?
cleared of those charges. Yeah, man, that guy could have probably. Okay, let's imagine. Well, wait. I don't think he would have had a bigger career after Naked Gun. I was just gonna say, what if he?
I don't know what you're talking about, Josh. He kills, man. He's awesome.
What if he didn't? What if that didn't happen? Do you think he would have ever gone back to acting? I don't know. That's some in another reality. Let's say he's probably The Rock. He's probably like The Rock, huge star. You got Naked Gun 22, probably hurts the movie. Things like that.
I'm just trying to think of like an athlete that really got good. See, like musicians transition pretty well. But,
sometimes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, think about it this way. Jamie Foxx, for example, is a singer. He was singing back in the 90s, and he's won an Oscar.
But Jamie Foxx is kind of...
He's a jack of all trades.
He's a tricky one, right?
But
Because
Will Smith is a rapper. Will Smith's a rapper. Yeah. He started as a rapper. Queen Latifah, she started as a rapper.
Yep.
I'm not saying just rappers, but I think it translates better than being an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because athletes are kind of almost programmed.
Well,
I'm coming from the standpoint of both. Like I'm a musician and an athlete. So like the athletic side of you is like, okay, tell me what I need to do, and I'll do it. Because you're used to doing repetition of things. So I had to do this 1,000 times to get it right. But where you're like more free flowing, when you're like, a musician, you're just letting things flow a little bit more.
Yeah,
so
but then you have somebody like Lady Gaga who takes it to like the nth degree that it doesn't need to be. And you're like, yeah, you're good, but it's not like
did really.
She's just weird in general.
Yeah.
But most artists are. She was great in A Star Is Born. That wasn't an action movie or anything, but she was on a motorcycle. Maybe that counts. No, she did.
The remake of a remake of a remake.
Have you seen it, though? Have you seen it? It's good. It's good. Mitch, you're going to cry. You just want to save yourself. Good. That's all. Just want to save yourself.
The story is very good.
Yeah.
It's just that, they're touting it as, like, they're kind of making people try to forget that there was, like, 2 movies before that were the exact copy of this movie that just came out kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so that's where I kind of make fun of it. But, I mean, it's a good story.
Yeah.
It's not bad. Yeah.
No, that's, I know, there's so many remakes around these days, but...
Marvel doesn't.
Arnold's probably the most successful, would you say? I don't think The Rock's close to that yet, because Arnold had so many hits. I don't think anybody else...
If we're looking at length,
I feel like he changed the game too.
Right. He's a game changer. Set the stage.
Right.
Yep.
So
Yep. Absolutely.
I feel like when you look at the 70s, you had this sort of like, aesthetic of utilizing either musicians like a David Bowie or a Mick Jagger,
right,
or athletes like a Jim Brown or a Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Oh yeah, Jim Brown.
Right.
Oh god,
just,
I forgot Jim Brown
just for their star power.
Yeah.
Just for their star power. It doesn't Terry Bradshaw, right? Like, and I think that's the role OJ played as well, sort of in Naked Gun. Like, he doesn't have to do well. You just have him there because you it's a recognizable face.
Right.
Kind of like cameo, like a cameo almost.
Yeah.
Well,
and Arnold really switched that up, where it's like, oh, now it's the 80s, and now we're gonna make movies around these types of athletes, where you have a Jean-Claude Van Damme, who's the real Steven Seagal, if you will, right? A world champion kickboxer, I believe, right? And then he comes, and then that becomes this sort of like this new aesthetic of action heroes as like people who really either physically have the part or martial arts.
What do we consider this level of athletics? I mean, are we talking post high school? Or are we
professional?
Talking
college? Professional. Yep. Professional.
Well, then Joe Rogan.
Was he?
Was Joe Rogan a comedian first, or was he an MMA artist?
Joe Rogan.
He was an athlete first.
He's a Taekwondo, like the highest level you can be in Taekwondo.
Oh, really?
Like he's high level. Yeah, he used to compete a lot.
Yeah.
But is he in any movies?
Well, no, he was on a TV show.
News radio.
Oh, that's true. That's right.
News radio.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
God, I forgot about
our spectrum of acting. I know, like I nitpick and stuff, but that's just how my brain goes. I'm just saying, like, to me, he's a solid comedic actor.
Yeah.
but he's also considered an athlete. And I
Right.
just think those mindsets are unique because I was looking behind the scenes for it's a movie. It's an MMA movie called Warrior with Tom Hardy.
Oh,
and I
that's
forget the
good.
other actor's name. Right, but they showed like their training regimen. Like there's a thing you can watch online about like how they train and blah blah blah. Those guys are not fighters. You know, like they're not. They don't really have an athletic bone in their body in the grand scheme of things. I mean,
Oh, really?
you know, like Chris Hemsworth. I mean, sure, but there's a certain mindset, I guess you have.
They get the
When
look
you're-
of a
you're
fighter.
being
They
an
don't have the skills, basically. They have
Right,
to
like-
get the
There's like, I think one of them said, like, I would never wish this on anybody. Like, this is grueling and this is hard. I have a lot more respect for fighters. But the guy that is the actor, he does Kingdom, a show called Kingdom about MMA. The main guy, he played Crossbones in one of the Marvel movies.
Okay, yeah.
And, he also,
Sure.
and he's the main guy in The Purge, Purge 2. He's
Yep.
the main actor in Purge.
Frank
Frank
something.
can actually fight.
Okay.
Frank can fight.
Yeah.
Frank can actually fight. He actually has, you know, like I think if he had never acted, he probably would have been a fighter.
Right.
Like there's people like that.
Sure.
I mean, Mike Tyson's been in movies
Right. As Mike
know?
Tyson.
as Mike Tyson. He's not gonna. He's
Yeah.
probably not gonna get an Oscar nomination anytime soon.
Well,
but
when Paul was talking about Arnold, I thought of something like we're going from athletes to movie stars, right? I think Arnold inspired movie stars to become athletes pretty much. Like Stallone. Look at Stallone. When Arnold came on the scene, Stallone's like, I got to up my game. And he actually, I think, fought in some of those Rocky movies. I mean, he took some punches, let's say, not like an actual fight, but we have a lot of actors who've kind of went the opposite, you know, as far as getting into shape, I guess that's different, but for actually going crazy and doing stunts with physicality.
I mean, he at least changed the build, right? I mean,
Right,
so
yeah,
they had
totally.
to like physically change,
Right.
And then I think maybe Jackie Chan helped to like convince actors like, oh, maybe you should do some of your own stunts now as well,
Right. Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
Jackie Chan was like a stunt artist, wasn't he? And
He's an actor
like,
too.
have you heard like that crew that he went through? It's an extremely rigorous process.
oh yeah,
Like it's terrible.
have you seen Rumble in the Bronx?
Yeah.
No, I
Jackie
need
Chan.
to.
I own it.
That's the
You wanna
first
borrow
movie
it?
I ever saw of him, but he was tapped to be the new Bruce Lee, I believe. Like he was his
No,
understudy.
Jackie had been doing it back since the 70s.
Right, but he was
yeah.
I think
And if you like talking about athletes, Cannonball Run, right? I mean,
Mhm.
Jackie Chan. That's the first time I saw Jackie Chan. Of course, I didn't know who he was except for
Right.
but like all cameos, all
but he put like goofiness into it. Like he was tapped to be the next Bruce Lee, and he actually tried to be serious in some of his earlier films, and it just didn't work. And then he just became goofy with his stunts, you know, kind of like showing he's in pain, right? Not walking it off, not having the faces, you know, and all that stuff. And I think he set the bar too, I guess, for that as well. Mickey Rourke, that's one who actually went from movie star to boxing.
To
Do you
boxing.
remember that? Yeah, and he kind of messed up his face.
He boxed not too long ago. He boxed in his 60s. He had a boxing
Yeah.
match like within the last 10 years, I believe he had a boxing match.
Oh, you're
mean-
kidding.
Well,
No
sadly,
BS, no.
he might need the money. I don't know. I mean, you know, I think the older I get, the more I realize, like, you're not always extremely wealthy as an actor.
Yeah, well, he has a passion for boxing.
He does. I mean, yeah, he quit Hollywood
that's the
to
reason
go.
why he had to
Yeah.
get the,
Yeah.
Right, that's why he has that reconstructive surgery on his face.
Right.
It's because
Lord
he got
knows his face
smashed
has
in the
a
nose.
passion for boxing.
Yeah. He's just not the world's greatest boxer is basically it. That's basically it.
Well,
Like, move your head. Mickey, move your head.
The first you don't succeed, pull a Mickey Rourke.
Why would you do it again, bro? Watch your head. He's hitting you in the nose.
life's too good. Have a Mickey Rourke.
What?
Move your head, bro. That's the coach in me just talking to him.
Well,
Like, come
Juan,
on,
you
head
should have
movement.
been his Mick. You know, he would have been successful.
I would have.
Get in there, Rock.
Get in the gym with a little blood, sweat, and tears.
Come on, bud, move your head.
Instead of just tears. My face hurts.
He was good in The Wrestler, though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's what
Yeah, that was a great
brought him
movie.
back into the spotlight. But yeah, I don't know. Can you think of anything other names? I think Carl Weathers might have been considered athlete to movie star. I think he was a football player before Rocky. I think. Could be wrong there. A professional football player, I'm not sure, but like Burt Reynolds played football, but I don't know if he was. I don't think he was professional.
Burt Reynolds. Now there's a guy, hot-headed guy that could barely act, but yet everybody gave him praise for stuff.
I thought he was pretty good. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say his acting's. Some of his later, hit and miss. Let's say hit and miss, but yeah, man, he could charm you.
What was his? What was it? Oh God! Remember when he was a senator and striptease or whatever, and he shaved off his mustache?
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Boogie Nights, Boogie Nights, man,
Nuts.
he was great in Boogie Nights. He did a great job there. That's what got him more gigs
Yeah.
and stuff.
That's true. That did bring him back into the fold.
He definitely never got into that action. I mean, he was an action star for like the 70s, but yeah, once the Arnold phase hit, he did not even try to get into all that mess.
Yeah.
He was excellent in Dirk Diggler, so I give him a high five for that. Boogie Nights. I'm sorry, Boogie Nights.
Right.
Dirk Diggler.
He plays a good pervert.
I imagine a lot of these athletes do most of their stunts. Do you agree? Or maybe they don't because of their injuries. I don't know.
I don't think The Rock does. He's got some busted up knees. I think he's
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise does, though.
If I was a professional actor, I wouldn't do my stunts. I wouldn't do it.
Right, and that's
And
that's
I think also coming from the athletic background, I feel like that makes a lot of sense. Like, I feel like I was never an athlete past high school, so I'm not putting myself in that category. But I've talked to quite a few, and it's just like when you put your body through that much punishment, when somebody says, "Hey, here's some money and you don't have to do that," I don't feel like they will. Whereas actors are always trying to get more real and actors have a glorified concept, I think, sometimes of kicking your body's ass that once they start to do it, it becomes quickly not a good idea,
right.
I mean, the guys that do their own stunts, you gotta understand, like Jackie Chan for the Rumble in the Bronx, like don't even show he broke his foot.
Oh, he's
doing a
broken.
jump.
He's broken every bone in his body, I believe. That's what they
Right,
say.
but I'm saying he had a cast on in the water scene. He's on the whatever, is it skis or something? But that's just a sock that looks like a shoe.
Yep. And it fell
Over
off
his
sometimes
cast.
too. Yep.
So I'm saying
Yeah,
you get paid for that.
those movies he did
I
in
get
the
paid for this.
those movies he did in the 90s.
Remember my lines.
Even Rush Hour, they would always show the bloopers, and man, he really got hurt like a lot. And I think a lot of these actors are like, they want to they kind of want to be one of the guys, and I think that's why a lot of them are like, I can do that, and it's like you don't have any idea what kind of road you're gonna get on here. You're like you're gonna break all kinds of bones. It's like it's not gonna be good.
Well, they can stop any time, right? Like they can just do it once and then they never have to do it again.
Right.
And part of the problem with professional sports is that you have to keep showing up.
Yeah.
Every time.
Right.
Like when they talk about Emmitt Smith and he broke his ribs and he stayed in the game, and it's like, yeah, dude, because if you get injured, like in professional football, that could be the end of your career. Not from the injury, but just from getting benched.
Yeah.
Because the guy behind you is just as good. And once he gets a chance, then you're done. And nobody else picks you up.
Faster too.
Yep.
Right.
So you have to keep pushing as you get injuries. But actors, not for nothing, but they can be like, oh, I did all my own stunts in that film. I never did it again. And I never did it before. It's voluntary.
You think it's something they can shut off, though?
I
think a lot of them can't really shut that off. Maybe it's like a drug kind of. It's like
maybe they need that rush or something.
Yeah, well, like
if my fight scenes were like Seagal's, Steven Seagal's fight scenes, I would totally do it. I would totally do it.
I'd pay to see that. Yeah,
every freaking time. It's not a lot of movement. I just stay there and fight with my hands.
Well, I'll give you an example.
Awesome.
In the last James Bond movie, Spectre, Daniel Craig, he does his own stunts, or he tries to, I think. and he's gotten older, right? So there was a scene with him and Dave Bautista in a train, and they're going through walls and throwing each other around and stuff. And I guess they had it was perfectly shot, but Craig told Dave just give me more, and Dave obliged, and he broke his knee or badly injured his knee. Craig did, and that's the star of your movie, right? So
I guess I feel comfortable with hand to hand. I'm the guy that's stupid enough to actually fight and get punched in the face,
right.
So I'm comfortable with that.
Right.
But when you're talking about jumping over cliffs and freaking hang gliding, nope, not
exactly.
doing any of that stuff. Nope,
exactly.
I'm not that guy. I don't get a thrill from it.
Well,
but if we're talking about
right.
hand to hand and grabbing someone and snapping their neck, yeah, all day.
I mean, this is a really fascinating topic. I think we did pretty good at listing some successes and not so successes. Finishing out the show, if each of you want to go through what you would recommend people check out right now?
As in movies?
Anything, books, movies,
start,
TV. I start? Okay. I brushed up on The Orville lately, season 2. It's on Hulu. Very good.
Oh, that's a good episode.
Very good. I'm a Star Trek fan, but I think they're doing better than actual Star Trek right now. And I'm not trying to be a hater of that, but some of their episodes are just really well done and great visuals and their budget's a lot lower than modern Star Trek, and they're just able to tackle a lot of issues with humor too. And it's really addicting to watch, and I look forward to season 3. If you're a Star Trek fan, check it out. I've liked it from the start. It got, a lot of people don't like Seth MacFarlane too much for various reasons, I guess. But when this show first came out, a lot of people were, especially critics, were just saying it was terrible and not funny and all that. I gave it a chance. I've enjoyed it ever since it came on. So I don't know what they were smoking.
I've actually heard good things about it.
It's a great show, and I think even to non-sci-fi fans, you're tuned in for the comedy aspects, and it's got great.
It makes me think of Galaxy Quest.
Yes,
to be honest
it's Galaxy Quest and TNG merged, I believe. I think that's a good way to look at it. That's also something I recommend. There's a Galaxy Quest documentary on Amazon Prime right now, so check that out. It's really cool behind the scenes of making of that film and how it was going to be something different even before it came out. So it was going to have a different tone, even different star. So it's very fascinating. Check that out.
I'll suggest. It came out last year, I believe, though, but still an excellent show in my opinion. It's fun. It's fun to watch. It's called Doom Patrol. So you can get it on the DC Comics application. But basically, it's like X-Men, and actually Doom Patrol I think predates X-Men. So if you look at how the characters are set up, they're kind of reject superheroes, are discriminated against superheroes, and their leader is a person who can't walk, who lets them live in his mansion. Just keep that in mind. But Brendan Fraser, he kills it in this show. The girl that plays Crazy Jane, excellent actress. Very good. Even the kid that plays Cyborg nails it. Everyone is doing great. I forget the fourth character's name. There's like 2 others, but it's very well done. It's almost like reality it'd be like a more realistic, less, it's just a more realistic approach to maybe like what you would think of like X-Men. It's just a really cool show. I really enjoyed it a lot. That would be my suggestion out the gate. Like, give Doom Patrol a try. It may even make you want to venture back into the old original comic book and stuff like that too. And I've always been a big fan of DC's villains anyways. DC Comics villains, I always like their villains. That's all I have to say.
I like that.
If I had to recommend something, I would say, and unfortunately it's not going to be comic book related or anything, but my wife kind of got me wrangled into this whole show on Lifetime called Married at First Sight.
My wife's actually hooked on that right now.
I don't know what it is.
Dude, it is crazy. So basically, they whittle down a whole bunch of single people, and then they have meetings with psychologists to figure out what their like personality profile is, and then based on that, they basically go in and tell them that they made the series, and that they're going to be married in like so many days, but they haven't met the person yet. So the first time that they actually meet is when she walks down the altar, and then they have like 8 weeks to figure out if they're going to stay married or get a real divorce. And I mean, the marriage is real. And so they kind of follow these people along as far as their trials and tribulations of like dating and living together for the first time. It's brutal. It's crazy. Absolutely hilarious. So
my wife's addicted
Someone
to
you've
that.
never met before?
No, never met. It's really good.
And roll camera.
Really good.
I could never be on that.
I know.
Oh, can I throw one more in there?
Of course.
Everyone knows. Tiger King. Anyways, go ahead.
Yeah.
The greatest show I've ever seen in my life. I'm sorry. It's the greatest show I've ever seen.
Nick Cage is going to play a Tiger King. Did you
I
hear
thought
that?
this was all scripted.
I did.
Are you for Nick Cage playing
Really?
the Tiger King? Yeah. He's going to be. That's what they say. I'm shocked.
He's going to have 2 husbands. That's awesome.
Oh, who are those husbands going to be? Who can play Nick Cage's husbands? That's the question. That should have been the topic.
Tom Hardy and...
They're not going to get Tom Hardy. Unless they pay him a lot.
Tom Hardy and Zac Efron.
Oh, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. I don't think they can... They might be able to get Zach. I don't know about Tom. Tom will really study the hell out of him.
With the 3 teeth.
I really hope they find some way to enter in the whole conversation about when you go to Sonic, do you order the short hot dog or the long hot dog?
Oh, yeah.
You remember that scene?
Yeah.
It was like, well,
Makes me not want the hot dogs.
Jesus. Oh, my God. Yeah, Tiger King. Check that out, everybody, if you haven't. That's that's fun to watch.
I think they need to do a crossover of National Treasure and Tiger King. So if Nick Cage plays Tiger King in a National Treasure sequel, then I'm down for it.
Like he just
crossover.
lost it. He just lost it. He became obsessed with tigers, and there you go. Yeah, Disney would make
Or
that,
just
wouldn't
brought
they?
them all, just had like a whole gang of tigers with him on his adventures. It's like, man, we can't find that guy. Where is he? Oh, just follow the giant, all the tigers. Like, he's easy to find. He's right there.
They probably just have to film Nick Cage just around town. That's probably what he does. He's a.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking, right? It's like he can play the Tiger King if we see like the real behind the scenes, like he's doing something crazy in real life that's as crazy.
Yeah. There's that
Well,
documentary.
he was supposed to play Superman at one time, right?
Yep.
He was supposed to play Superman.
He was.
For what? Was that Tim Burton?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like Tim Burton's Superman movie?
That's something
Nicolas
I'll
Cage's
recommend too.
Superman.
The documentary behind that is awesome. It's the late great John Schnepp. He did that film, and it was I think it was called Superman Lives: What Happened, and you get to see all these drawings, what they were gonna do. It's so fascinating. But yeah, it's a documentary that's worth checking out.
I think I've seen bits and pieces of it.
I'm sorry, I'm remembering things now. Staircase, that's on Netflix. That's really good. If you like murder mystery stuff. My wife and I just finished that. That was really good. Yeah, I think we were late to the game on that. That was like popular 2 years ago, I think. We got a lot of catching up to do, let's say. But
yeah, one show that I have a recommendation. It's pretty wild, and I don't know how well it fits in, but is Midnight Gospel. Have you guys seen that at all?
no,
I've never heard of it.
So Midnight Gospel, it's super wild. So it's based on a podcast by Duncan Trussell, and essentially it's and he's on Joe Rogan quite a bit, and it's basically about Duncan Trussell talking to people about spirituality and sort of famous sort of like gurus and meditation people.
Sure.
Meanwhile, the whole thing is animated, and it's like it's also it's a story. While he's doing this podcast, the story in the show is that he is like a person that is able to travel to different universes, and so he goes to a different universe every time with a different avatar, and then like meets some person in that universe and then interviews them, and it's visually one of the strangest like things going on. Like
Interesting.
in one episode, like they all like, I mean, I can't even really explain it. They all get like chewed up and spit out.
Sounds like
They're
Quantum
talking
Leap.
about like
Yeah.
they're like talking about death while like getting like chewed up and spit out by this giant machine, and then they're like all blobs, and it's extremely, it's very surreal. It's kind of a visual feast. It's a lot of fun. I think it's something that can take to rewatchings where, you know, you just kind of let it hit you. You just kind of stare at it and you pick out pieces of what they're saying. You pick out pieces of what you're seeing. Even in any one scene, there's so much happening visually. It's just like a visual feast.
Wow.
It's fun.
Can you
That's
say the
cool.
name of it again? What is it called again?
Yeah, it's called
What is it called
Midnight
again?
Gospel. Midnight Gospel.
And what platform would I be able to get that off?
Netflix.
Oh, okay.
There you go. It's all there on Netflix.
Yeah, so it's really
man, okay.
it's pretty wild. Like I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's worth just flipping on and kind of being like, what is going on? And it's also like a fun way to be using animation, right? I feel like people are really getting creative with, you know, even storytelling and how to, you know, what are the limits of the way that a story can be told. And sometimes I'm watching it and I'm like, is what's going on visually have anything to do with what they're talking about? Like, and it always kind of does, sometimes very loosely, like sort of a visual story and an audio story happening that kind of overlap sometimes. It's cool. It's pretty. It's fun stuff.
That's awesome. That's
that sounds intriguing. It sounds like a mixture of like Quantum Leap meets Rick and Morty.
There you go. Oh, I love Quantum Leap.
Sounds like Quantum Leap and Rick and Morty.
Yeah. That does sound really cool. Man, there's so much. Gosh, sadly, I'm still able to work, so I can't take all this time to watch these shows, and I'll do my best.
We got nothing but time right now, John.
I guess so. Time, yeah.
Quarantine, baby.
There you go.
Binge.
That's true. Yeah. And anything else, guys, to recommend before we go?
His show sounded more better.
I know, right? I know everyone's got some good recommendations.
I think I'm doing like mindless entertainment. Paul comes in with the really good shit.
I know. We're all blasting off like thousands of programs that we could all watch, and he's like Silent Bob over here with one suggestion. We're like, crap.
Damn, that was good.
It's all good, man. Look, there's various time. You know, have you guys seen this Tales from the Loop? This is one we're watching.
Oh, I've heard about that, but no, I haven't.
Sometimes I like it. Sometimes I don't know. I'm not sure about it. I haven't decided.
Is it kind of like Black Mirror?
It's kind of like Black Mirror, but I just don't think it's done as well, right? Where it's like I feel very satisfied with Black Mirrors, where it's like this is you took an item and you took it in a better direction. I would almost say it's more like Twilight Zone, but not as well done. Where it's just like you start with something cool and then you don't go anywhere with it, and then then my wife gets mad at me because I'm like arguing about the science, and I'm like, listen, man, I don't need it to be perfect. I just want I want some coherence. I want to suspend my disbelief as much as anybody else, but I can't if you're gonna be having the episode 1 has this like child lost in the woods, and then episode 2 you don't run into that kid. Like, where did she go? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? It's just like these inconsistencies.
I want to ask this though: is this a gender thing? Is this common for you guys? Like, is it a gender thing? Because I've noticed that like when I'm watching like a film or anything with a young lady, it's like I'm like, that makes no sense. But usually they'll be like,
shut up.
So it's still, like, but I'm like, no, you can't, 1 + 1 is 2, and that made it 46. That's not how it works. Like,
that's a good question.
I mean, that's very analytical. I think is a good way.
Oh,
of putting
extremely.
It. Yeah,
extremely.
So when something doesn't make sense or there's a plot hole that's so glaring it's bad, we tend to point it out, and they just tend to overlook it.
We can't go past it.
Entertainment, yeah.
I can't go past it. I'm like, Well, no. I can't even invest in this next scene.
Yeah.
This doesn't make sense. I'm that guy. I'm like, no. We can't even.
Yeah,
do
no,
that.
help me help you. I'm not trying to get in your way.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a hole here. Call me before you go to print. Like I want to help you to fix
Yeah.
this hole.
Well, no,
I can't pretend
Exactly.
it's not
If
there.
it's in context of the right.
Right.
In context of what we're talking about, like if I know it's going to be ridiculous and it's not meant to make sense, then I'm good.
Mm-hmm.
I know that Josh wants to be a reader, but hates reading. But I have a good segue. I have a good answer.
Yes.
That's kind of
good
the
answer.
equivalent of what I'm talking about.
There's a good there's an author named Ted Chang who writes short stories,
Perfect.
and I'm telling you, man, this guy's the best. Like it's shocking. I think, and I don't know. This is a this is a theory. I haven't heard it anywhere else, but I almost think that the people from Black Mirror read Ted Chang's stories and were like, "Oh, we could do a show that is this."
Right.
Like Ted Chang is a master at these stories, and what I love about it too is that he does things that, like, he'll put something out there in terms of sci-fi, and he doesn't explain it at all. But what he does is he takes it to a logical conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So that's all I need. Like I don't need you to explain everything. Like he'll have stuff where it's just like a guy walks into a store. There's a hoop, and if you put your head through the hoop, you are in a place 30 years before. And he doesn't explain it. He's just like,
Right.
here's a 30-year hoop. And then he goes through, like, this is what would happen if that were true. I don't need it explained. I just need logical coherence.
Right.
I'm willing to play, it's sci-fi, right? I get it's fiction.
Yep.
So just tell me there's a hoop, and if I go through it, I'm 30 years in the future. Okay, cool. What happens next? And have it make sense enough that I can buy it. That's all I want, right?
But that's because
I think I know what you're saying, Paul. You just wanted to explain explanation, like more details. I think that's what you're.
Maybe
that's what I'm
just
looking
set
for.
the rules from the
Like, I
start
just
and
need
not
to be
go
able to
back
keep up with
into
you.
it.
Right.
Like the
Yeah,
Matrix.
just let me help you.
The Matrix, the
keep
first
me up
one
with
to me was like perfect, right? And then they get really complex in the follow-up ones, in my opinion. But yeah, I kind of
agree 100%.
Yeah, I see that point.
To circle back, I know that you were just giving a random thought. You put your head in a hoop and you go back 30 years. And oddly enough, there's a show, I think it's on Amazon, called 11/22/63, and it's written by Stephen King, and the whole thought process is, what would have happened if somebody would have stopped JFK's assassination?
Right.
And it all starts out with, and stop me if you've already seen it.
I haven't.
This guy goes to this old diner, he's friends with this old guy, and it's about ready to shut down or whatever, and he says he's been going like back in time, trying to stop the JFK assassination. He's too old now to do it. And he explains like what life is like now versus 63. He's like explaining food is so much tastier because they use like shortening and stuff like that. It's going to be better. Life's a little slower. He's going through this whole thing to like set you up for like 1963. And then you see him transport back to 63, and it's just your mindset's already there. And that's why it's so good, is that he set up this perfect landscape before you even got there.
Interesting.
Right.
That's good writing.
Awesome.
It's like
that just sounds like good writing.
it's like all in the setup.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Well, that's the problem with modern writing, I think, is there's expectations when they start setting things up, but they don't have the end result, or they have the desire to explain everything, and it's never satisfying.
I think it's lazy writing, but I don't think it's necessarily. I shouldn't say lazy. I'm going to say it's rushed.
Yeah.
So I wonder
There's
if there's
deadlines.
a lot of deadlines that people have to meet.
Absolutely. Yep.
And the shows that actually are successful are even just the stories that are actually successful. I think that's something that someone already invested a decent amount of time into, and they already had that vision. So it might have been something that was, notice like Harry Potter, or even like these, Lord of the Rings. Obviously that's older, but these kind of stories where the person already put in all the work years prior to, whereas someone trying to make something on the fly, I noticed that like maybe you go through the industry, like the industry, and they're just like, hey, all right, let's crank them out. Let's
Yep.
make some more money.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I get that. It's a business. I get that part. But me, like, writing a story myself right now and trying to figure it out, like, I want to go into so much detail that, like, in my mind, I'm like, if someone was to make this into, like, a film, they have all the information they need on this character, on this setting, on this, you know, environment. And I'm noticing when I look at other works where I'm not satisfied, I'm just like, well, I want to learn more about that person. What's that movie that came out a year or two ago with Sandra Bullock, and it's
Bird Box?
What?
Bird Box, yeah. That was
Is that the one where you can't look outside or you can't go outside?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, Bird Box, yeah. That movie should have not been a movie, in my opinion.
I don't
I
think
thought
it
that
originally
should've
was. I thought
It should have been a series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
there's just these time. It's actually done. I gave it like a C plus B minus. It's good, but I'm like, I want to know more about how they got to this. How did they get from here to there? Let me know more about her. Let me know more about. I mean, because I don't want to give it away to people who might be listening and haven't seen it yet. But it's so much they could have stretched at and made it like a 3, you know, like multi-series type thing.
Right.
And I'm saying just from the beginning, just them being in the house alone, those different characters in the house, and then the people that are immune to certain things. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I'm not trying to give it away.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, that can be stretched, and that's, to me, good writing. But I wonder if it's got to do something more with, you want this high class, because they had John Malkovich in there too. These 2 high level actors, and they'll do a one-off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah.
And may not want to invest in a series or something. That's the only thing that makes sense to me.
Some movies are just have bad writing, but then they interject like a really good actor, and it makes the movie somewhat decent.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's been done. Yeah.
Ray comes to mind. I think Jamie Foxx is better than the movie.
No, yeah. Guess I could see that.
I need to go back. I've only seen that movie once, and I remember
the movie doesn't do much for me. It just tells a story, but Jamie Foxx's depiction of Ray Charles, he nails it.
Right.
He is Ray Charles.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah,
he's nailing it. He's better than the movie, in my opinion. He's made better than the movie.
Because if you take away the performance, I don't know if it really stands on its own. I don't.
It goes straight to DVD.
Probably.
You know, speaking of really good actors, there's 2 movies that come to mind that really have evoked a series of emotions for me. And oddly enough, they're both by the same actor, Will Smith. 7 Pounds and The Pursuit of Happiness. Those
I have not seen 7 Pounds.
Heavy freaking movies. And 7 Pounds is just crazy because you kind of go through the life, little flashbacks of Will Smith, and then the end, you just don't see it coming. It's just, it is one of probably the better movies I've seen in a while, and it just, your mouth is just kind of agape when you're watching the end.
Right. Yep. And his performance is captivating. Yeah, he sells the film on his performance, basically, like a lot of people do.
Like
take it out.
Is, like 7 pounds of flesh is what it's like, that kind of that phrase is kind of about. And that's what the whole movie cycles around. You kind of find out why he's doing what he's doing, but it's just like the whole buildup is crazy, and it isn't like a real slow story. It does go, but it's just, once it's all said and done, it's just like, Jesus, you know?
Right. Oh my
gosh. I mean, I had to check it out. Someone has told me a little bit about it before, and I heard good things. I just haven't. It's just one of those that slipped through the cracks that I just didn't ever get around to.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I definitely want to try it. I'd check it out.
Yeah.
I think that about does it for this episode. I know we all have our lives to get back to and stuff, and I really appreciate everyone's time this morning. And huge thanks to Paul. Sorry it took longer than we planned for, but hopefully your family will forgive me.
It's my pleasure.
This was really fun.
It was my pleasure. No, it was a lot of fun.
With that said, we will be back. I'm Josh.
I'm Mitch.
I'm Juan.
And I'm Paul.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Later.